Hi, hello.
Oh, hello. Nice
Hi.
to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. My name is George. What is your name?
Yo, yeah, my name is Hiroshi.
Hiroshi, nice to
Yeah,
meet you.
nice
And
to meet you. I'm calling from Japan. Oh,
excellent. What?
your
It's
cat.
one of my cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he or she is still a child, I think.
It's a she. She's very
Oh,
small.
she,
She's.
she,
I have a few cats, but yeah, she is my smallest one. Yeah,
oh,
I have some bigger ones as well, but
oh, so she's still a child, I think.
she's about 3 years old actually.
Oh,
So yeah,
really? Very good.
not
So a
Yeah,
small.
but you're right.
Oh,
She's very very small. I've had a few cats in my life, and I think she might be the smallest adult cat
oh.
I've
So
had.
you have another other pets, other
I
cats. And
I have five other cats that live at my house.
okay.
Yeah, so it can be quite crazy
Oh,
uh, around my house. But have you ever had cats, or do you have any
yeah.
pets?
Actually, nowadays, my wife and I are getting old, so it's rather hard to keep pets. The last one died about cat died about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and
Oh, okay.
when she died, we felt very, very sad. So,
Oh, it's
uh,
the worst
uh,
thing
so
about having a pet.
we can't, yeah, bear the sadness anymore. So we decided not to keep pet anymore. You
I
know.
completely understand. Like, I think one of the worst things about having a pet is that when they die, you have a big, huge feeling of loss, and that's yeah, you can't. It's very difficult to get over that. That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true. And
Um,
actually, nowadays, there are many old people in Japan, and they feel very lonely, so they tend to keep a pet. So
mhm.
many old people keep pets. And
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Japan is quite famous for having like an old population, or the death rate is higher than the birth rate. Is that how they work it out? But for
that's
me,
in
for
Japan now.
yeah, but I think it's more popular in most like economically developed countries to get married later, to have less children. It's not just Japan; it's many
Yeah,
developed countries in the world. I think
experience. Yeah.
I think with education as well, with people as people become better educated, they realize that maybe bringing a child into the world is not a good thing for the environment. These considerations. So it's more complicated now, the
Mm.
decision to have children, than it was in the past. I understand it, but for me, it seems crazy though that I mean, I think the American investor Warren Buffett just invested a lot of money in Japanese companies this week, or maybe
Oh,
it's
really?
like over $5 billion. Yeah, in the top
To
10
the
or
Japanese company?
top eight, like Mitsubishi, and yeah, lots of the big
Oh,
Japanese companies. But
oh.
um, yeah,
So I'm
he was
sorry,
at
you're
yeah.
calling from Canada or the United States?
I'm originally from Manchester in the
Oh,
United
oh,
Kingdom.
United States.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
United Kingdom.
I actually at the moment I live in Cambodia
Oh,
in Southeast Asia. So yeah,
oh,
um
really?
yeah, normally I would be back in England around this time, but I've decided to stay in Cambodia this summer because of the coronavirus. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I'll probably go back next spring to the UK, and
Oh,
hope that the situation is better then.
oh. So, when did you come to Cambodia and what are you doing? You are just speaking English?
I'm an English teacher, and I'm an IELTS examiner. Have you heard of IELTS? It's like an
Oh, yeah,
English
yeah.
language test.
Actually, I
Mm.
took that test before.
Wow. Okay. What band score did you get?
Well, I don't remember, but not so good.
No problems.
Well,
Well, it's a
two
good.
seven,
it's very difficult. So
Yeah,
whatever score you got, you did very well. Yeah.
I went to the university in Australia. So
Wow.
yeah,
Where in Australia?
Sydney.
In
I
Sydney.
attended the University of New South Wales,
Hmm.
and at that time I had to take IELTS or
Of course.
TOEFL. Yeah, so I took the IELTS. So I don't remember the result.
Yeah,
Uh,
no problems. That's great. What did you study
I
at Sydney?
studied applied linguistics because
Wow.
I was an English teacher in Japan. So
Fantastic. That's
yeah,
amazing. Oh, it's nice to meet another English teacher.
yeah.
I love linguistics as well. I studied English language and etymology as my university degree and my
Oh,
master's. So I love etymology,
I'm
the
sorry, but
origin.
what kind of study is that? Is it?
Etymology is the origin of words, where words come from.
Origin.
Hmm.
Really? I understand.
Yeah, it's just
Mm.
an area of linguistics. It's like the crossover of linguistics and history, really. I love history as well, so yeah,
Oh,
it's a good study for me.
and how is your life in Cambodia?
It's fantastic, actually. Let me tell you, I've been desperate to visit Japan for many years. It's like been in my top 3 countries to visit,
Uh,
and yet have not visited it. So that's disappointing. But
mm,
my my best experience of Japanese culture has to be in Cambodia because I live in the capital city, which is called Phnom Penh,
Phnom Penh, yes.
and
Mm.
yeah, and Phnom Penh has quite a large Japanese population, expat population. So I can go to some areas of the city and I can go to like Japanese shops, like supermarkets. I can
Mm.
go to like Japanese restaurants, which are like independently owned and like chain restaurants like Marugame. We have we have Japanese sake bars, we have like Japanese karaoke, and we have 2 Eon malls in Phnom Penh. With a third Eon mall about to be built. There's Eon shops, like the small mart shops
Yeah, yeah.
everywhere.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, like in
Actually,
the UK.
mm.
Sorry, after you.
Sorry. Actually,
No,
I know that Cambodia is influenced by Japanese so much. Actually, I know other countries such as Taiwan and Philippines and Thailand, and so those countries are, I know those countries are affected by Japanese very much, but Cambodia, I didn't know that.
well, did you know like Japan colonized Cambodia during the Second
Yeah.
World War? Yeah, yeah. So maybe only for like 2 or 3 years, but
Yeah.
that the influence. I think
Oh,
after Cambodia had a civil war and a genocide in the 1970s,
mm,
after they in the 1980s and 1990s when Cambodia was recovering, the
mm,
Japanese government gave a huge amount of money to
oh,
Cambodia in aid.
oh,
So Cambodian people love Japanese people and love Japanese culture.
really? I'm very glad to hear that.
Yeah, they absolutely love Japan,
Oh,
and they have a great relationship.
oh,
The water purification like plant in Phnom
oh,
Penh
yeah.
was supplied by the Japanese government. It was when it was built, I think maybe 8 years ago. It was one of the best in the world, and it cost over $10 million to build.
Oh,
So every like water
mm,
cover on the
mm,
road,
mm.
it says "Thank you to the people of Japan," written
Oh,
in English, Japanese, and
oh,
Khmer language. So yeah, it's
oh,
nice. Yeah.
mm. Well, speaking of water, the other day, a Japanese very famous doctor called, I just can't remember his name, but he was killed in
Oh,
Taliban. What the country's name of Taliban?
Taiwan. Yeah, close to China or
Yeah,
Thailand.
actually,
Thailand.
yeah.
Thailand.
Anyway, that doctor, a Japanese doctor, he volunteered to dig wells to get water, and he is thanked by the people. But Taliban, I don't know Taliban or not, but he was killed.
Oh dear!
Quite recently, and people feel very pity for him. Not only Japanese, but people in that country.
Of course, yeah, that's very sad. What country was he in? Do you remember?
The country where Taliban is ruling now.
Afghanistan, maybe. Afghanistan. Afghanistan.
Yeah. So he was killed.
That's very, very sad. It's, I mean, unfortunately, Afghanistan is a very difficult situation because, of course, it's easy to forget, but in the 1980s, the Americans went to war in Afghanistan against a group of Islamic terrorists or extremists called the Mujahideen. The Mujahideen are so they were fighting the Mujahideen. So they gave the Taliban at the time were fighting with the USA. So the weapons that the Taliban use today were given to them by the Americans in the 1980s. So it's a very difficult one because it's like America has to choose more carefully who it chooses as its friends, because the Taliban used to be their allies and now are fighting them with their own weapons. So that's stupid.
You seem to have a lot of things about the foreign countries.
I love traveling. I love traveling. Yeah, I've lived in. I've been lucky enough to live in lots of different countries, like Argentina, Brazil, France, Spain, Italy, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia.
Actually, when I was young, I also traveled quite a lot. But probably I haven't traveled as much as you do.
I've been lucky enough to have like cheap air travel. In the past, air travel was a lot more expensive, I think. So, what do you think about President Abe resigning?
No, we call Prime Minister.
Oh, sorry, Prime Minister Abe. Of course, you're the same as the UK. You have an emperor. We have a queen.
Very similar. So he resigned recently, and so now 3 other applicants are standing for next prime minister. But it seems to be I cannot guess who will win. But Prime Minister Abe, he stayed as a prime minister for the longest time.
Yeah, 8 years, is it? Long time.
Yeah, a little more than 8 years.
Very popular as well.
Well, actually, I guess it's not so popular.
Interesting. Okay.
He has lost popularity.
Okay.
Especially. So this was a good timing for him to resign.
Right. Okay. So you think he might have done it deliberately, like his health might be okay, but he decided to. Okay.
But
interesting.
Many people want a strong prime minister, and we have the problem with China and North Korea.
Most countries have a problem with China. I think it's not.
So we need a strong prime minister, I think.
Yeah. I think Prime Minister Abe was being very good at the middle ground of politics. He's not too far to the right, not too far to the left, which makes your country very stable. But in a time of like difficult diplomacy or war, even, it's better to have a strong leader rather than a middle ground leader. I understand your point. Thank you very much for calling me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. And
okay, thank you.
Yeah, have a wonderful day, and please call me back anytime you want. I'd love to speak to you again.
Okay.
Your English is absolutely wonderful, by the way. I think it's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Very nice to meet you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.